windowsill design, and today I'm here to show you a project that has been on my to-do list really since the beginning of winter. It's something that my family's been wanting me to tackle, and because it's now spring, of course this is the time when it sort of fits my schedule and everything comes together and I have the supplies and the time to do it. So I'm hoping that you'll enjoy it and follow along. So today's project is going to be to make a firewood carrier. We have a wood stove in a cottage up north, and the wood pile is on the front porch, and we're always, carrying handfuls of wood from the front porch into the living room. And my son had asked me quite early on, maybe even a year ago, if I could make a log carrier, just a simple canvas log carrier. So I did a little research online and I found some different styles, and I really wanted to just make one simple, and I wanted to make one with all the supplies that I had in the workroom. I knew I had canvas, so that was the starting point. So I wanted to find a canvas, just a canvas carrier to build. So looking online, I found one that had used like a rope like this for handles. So that's what we're going to use. This is some leftover rope. We've got a small sailboat, and this is a rope that either didn't work or it's beyond its sailing season, but it's quite fine for handles. We're going to make it work for our handles. So we'll be using that. We've got our canvas is cut here. I will put all the dimensions in the show notes. So below in the description here, you'll find all the notes. So you can follow along and make one yourself. But this is a canvas. This is 22 inches wide here, and the length of this is 45 inches. Now, the one I had seen that used the rope, it just had handles, but it kind of meant that this edge was kind of floppy, and I wasn't really sure that I wanted sort of a floppy handle like this, or a floppy end. Another style that I'd seen used dowel rods, and I happen to have a couple extra dowel rods lying around. This was actually a 3-foot dowel rod. Took the price tag off. It was actually 87 cents. Way back when. It must have been a long time ago for it to cost 87 cents. I'm sure they don't cost that much now, or cost that little now. So this was just a 36 inch, and if you want the diameter, 36 inches, and it looks like it's a 1/2 inch dowel. Use what you have. You could also probably use some nice sturdy flat slats. That would also work for this project. So what I'm going to do, because the other design I had seen used dowel rods, and you made a little casing on one end, inserted the dowel rod, but then you had to have a sort of a moon shape, a half moon shape cutout in the canvas so that you could put your fingers through to grip the dowel rod. And for me, I wasn't crazy about that idea, just because I thought cutting a hole in the canvas is going to weaken it at this point. It's not going to be sturdy anymore. So I didn't want to do that, but I liked the idea of the dowel to keep the edges rigid. So I'm going to make rigid ends with the dowel rods, but I'm also going to use the grommet handles in this. And to make our handles, we will be putting grommets in. Like I said, you can use metal grommets, but I sell these PVC plastic snap together grommets, and we're going to try these because they don't require any tools for fastening. And you'll see how easy they just snap together. So we're going to use these grommets here. They're 22 millimeter inside diameter. Actually, I think that's outside diameter. And that'll accept. It's the same, it's the perfect diameter for my cord here, for my rope to go through. So we're going to use these grommets and that cord and this canvas and those dowel rods, and I think that's pretty much it. So I've cut this out. I'm going to hem up the sides, and then we're going to take it to the sewing machine because this is a project that uses a sewing machine. So on my ends here, I'm going to turn these up 1.5 inches, and I'm going to do a double fold. I'll turn it up once 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to turn it under, and then we'll do the ends. For these ends where I'm going to have the dowel rod inserting, I need to sort of create a little pocket for that. I'm going to go turn up 3.5 inches. Actually, I'm not going to do 3.5. I want 3.5 inches in total. So I'm actually going to turn up. Well, first let's do it the easy way. We're going to go up 1/2 inch first. So 1/2 inch turned up. And then in total, now I want 3 inches in my pocket to be big enough for my 1/2 inch dowel to slide through. So now I'm just going to turn it up 1.5 inches. And that should be plenty big. Yep, once that's stitched down, it'll be tight, but it's not going to be too tight. That'll be plenty big. So if you get a different size dowel, you're going to have to sort of do some calculations, but I usually turn up 1/2 inch. This is stiff canvas, so you need to be kind of generous with the amount you turn up. So let's turn up 1/2 inch there. And now we're going to do the 1.5 inches again here. Okay, so now I am going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch the long sides first on each side, and then I'm going to stitch the short sides for my rod pocket, which is actually my dowel rod pocket. So I will So meet you at the sewing machine. Okay, so I'm back and I have it stitched on all four sides, leaving my rod pocket open on either end. And you'll notice that when I was stitching the short sides for the rod pocket, I made sure that I went back and forth several times to really secure the ends here. I feel like this is a stress point where it's going to get a lot of wear. So I wanted to make sure that those ends were reinforced really well. I'm going to give it a press. One more press. It's not so critical. It's, you know, it's a Firewood Carrier. But since it's flat and it's been in storage, this fabric's been in storage for a while. So we'll give it a nice press again. This is probably a really good piece of canvas to use on this project because I can see a fabric flaw in here and it looks like there's, I don't know, some discoloration here from something. It might have been adhesive, it might have just been the canvas, it might have been the way it was stored. So it's a really good piece to use for a project like this. I won't be afraid, I won't worry if this gets dirty. And it's sure to get dirty with firewood. So I'm going to insert my dowels on each end. And just even them out. They don't come all the way to the end, and I think that's perfect. It leaves just a little bit, it's a little bit shy of the ends. So there won't be any wood poking out. And I can already tell, just like this, that this is a nice, sturdy side now, as opposed to it being floppy. If I didn't put these rods in, it would have not been so so sturdy it would have really flopped around. So now the last thing, the only thing left to do is to put in our grommets and to put in our handles. So I'm using these red grommets. Like I said, I sell these snap together grommets. They come in 2 pieces. There's a bottom and a top, sort of a grooved side and a spiked side. So I'll need 2 for each side. And I'll put a link in the description for getting these grommets. I am going to go 4.5 inches from either end for the on-center of my grommet. And I think I'm going to want my grommet to be, I want my grommet to fall just under where the hem is on this rod pocket. So I'm kind of lining this up. It looks like if my on-center is about 1 inch from this fold edge, then I'm clearing it, and it's not, my snap grommet is not going to interfere with the bulk of the rod pocket. So I'm going to go 1 inch from the fold edge, and I'm going to go 4.5 inches from my outer edge. So I'm just making like a little cross mark. So it's 4.5 inches by 1 inch at the fold. And this is a template for cutting the inside diameter of the grommet right here. So all I'm going to do is line this up so that the little crosshair, that little cross that I drew for my on-center spacing, is in the center of my circle, and I'm just going to trace it. So I have a circle traced on my canvas. And now I just have to cut out the inside center. I want to cut that circle, that fabric away. And I'm only cutting the center. And now I'm going to take one of my grommets, I'm going to take the groove side and put that on the bottom. There's a little lip on the grommet, so I'm going to make sure that the fabric is all on the outside of the grip. And I'm going to take the other grommet side, which has little spikes in it. I just have to line it up. And snap it together. And you hear that snap. Then you know it's in. So I'm going to do that to the other circle here. Again, I'm going to take the groove side and put that on the bottom. Doesn't really matter which side is up or which side is down, it just matters that you have one groove and one with the pins in it. And when you hear it snap, then you know it's set, and it's as simple as that. So I'm going to go over to this side, put in 2 more grommets. Here are my 4 grommets just below my bars. So now all that's left is to insert our handles. So I'm going to cut 2 30-inch pieces of cord. Seems like a lot, but we need to cut, or we need to make a knot. We need to make a knot in this cord, and that takes up quite a bit. So from the outside, I'm going to go from the outside in with my cord. And I'm just going to tie a knot. And I'm going to bring it down as tight as I can. I'm going to do the same to this one. And because this is a nylon cord here, a nylon rope, I have a lighter, and we are going to singe the ends. Where I cut it, it wants to fray, so I'm going to pull this cord out and melt the end here. What I'm trying to do is just get it all to kind of melt together so it doesn't want to unravel over time. This side was already done because that was one of our cut ends. And I'll do the same thing to this side. That will stop the ends from fraying on me. Here's my finished log rack. And now all that's left to do is try it out. So I want to thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to get more notices about other projects that we're doing in the workroom, click the notification button and you'll be reminded whenever we publish a new video and a new project. Please leave any comments in the field below. You can like or dislike. Any engagement is really quite fine with us, but we love to hear if you've made this project, if you've made any modifications to it. Let us know. I hope to try this out. I can't believe it took me probably 2 years to get around to this. It really didn't take any long time at all to actually do it. I think it's going to work out well. It's going to save us arm loads of carrying this in from the porch, even though it's just the porch. The sides do kind of, this flops down a little, but I think I'd rather have it flop down like this. I think it'll just stay on top of the logs. The logs will be in here holding it up, and the ends won't collapse. So I'm anxious to try it out this weekend, and I'll give you a report. Thanks for watching.